Okay, remember that they're changing my voice. This video is about Genesis 21, the birth of Isaac. Now the Lord was gracious to Sarah as he said, and the Lord did for Sarah what he had promised. Sarah became pregnant and bore a son to Abraham in his old age, at the very time God had promised. Abraham gave the name Isaac. Isaac means he laughs, to the son Sarah bore him. When it says Isaac was 8 days old, Abraham circumcised him as God commanded him. Abraham was 100 years old when his son Isaac was born to him. Sarah said, God has brought me laughter, and everyone who hears about this will laugh with me. And she added, who would have said to Abraham that Sarah would nurse children, yet I have borne him a son in his old age? Hagar and Ishmael. The child grew and was weaned, and on the day Isaac weaned Abraham, he held a great feast. But Sarah was angry that the son whom Hagar the Egyptian had borne to Abraham was mocking. And she said to Abraham, get rid of that slave woman and her son, for that woman's son will never share in the inheritance with my son Isaac. The matter distressed Abraham greatly because it concerned his son. But God said to him, do not be so distressed about the boy and your slave woman. Listen to whatever Sarah tells you, because it is through Isaac that your offspring or seed will be reckoned. Now let's stop here again. It's common sense that helps you see that I'm right here. We see Jews mocking me in this day and age, and none of them are obeying God through me. But even if you don't know that, it should be very clear. Does God choose people based on the flesh? No. It is not through the flesh of somebody named Isaac that people are chosen. Whoever thinks that is very sick, very mentally. I don't want to meet the person who thinks that. Never in my life, ever, did I think that the Jews were chosen, ever. The people who identify themselves as Jews, what have you. Never in my life did I think that somebody, because of their flesh, is greater than a righteous person. Whoever thinks that is very, very stupid. I will make the son of the slave into a nation also, because he is your offspring. Early the next morning, Abraham took some food and a skin of water and gave them to Hagar. He set them on her shoulders and then sent her off with the boy. She went on her way and wandered in the desert of Beersheba. When the water in the skin was gone, she put the boy under one of the bushes. Then she went off and sat down about a bow shot away, for she thought, I cannot watch the boy die. And as she sat there, she, Septuagint says the child, began to sob. God heard the boy crying, and the angel of God called to Hagar from heaven and said to her, what is the matter, Hagar? Do not be afraid. God has heard the boy crying as he lies there. Lift the boy up and take him by the hand, for I will make him into a great nation. Then God opened her eyes, and she saw a well of water. So she went and filled the skin with water and gave the boy a drink. God was with the boy as he grew up. He lived in the desert and became an archer. While he was living in the desert of Paran, his mother got a wife for him from Egypt. Now you see how there's just one puzzle after another. So she goes about a bow shot away, right? And her son becomes an archer. But it's not that simple, because we see in the story that lightning is compared to arrows. God is said to be firing arrows at people at one point in the story. So it's figurative. He's somebody who's going to be striking the enemies of God, while striking himself if he's outside the divine order, while striking those on his side if he's outside the divine order, okay, or while not striking himself if he's not outside the divine order. I know there's some kind of squirrel chirping. It's a long story why that is, and it has to do with sabotage, believe it or not, and they try to play me out even though I have 23 witnesses to stop. So let's just wrap this up here. The treaty at Beersheba. At that time, Abimelech and Phicol, the commander of his forces, said to Abraham, God is with you in everything you do. Now swear to me here before God that you will not deal falsely with me or my children or my descendants. Show to me and the country where you now reside as a foreigner the same kindness I've shown to you. Abraham said, I swear it. Then Abraham complained to Abimelech about a well of water that Abimelech's servants had seized. But Abimelech said, I don't know who has done this. You did not tell me, and I heard about it only today. So Abraham brought sheep and cattle and gave them to Abimelech, and the two men made a treaty. Abraham set apart 7 ewe calves from the flock, and Abimelech asked Abraham, what is the meaning of these 7 ewe lambs you have set apart by themselves? He replied, accept these 7 lambs from my hand as a witness that I dug this well. So that place was called Beersheba. It can mean well of seven and well of the oath. Again, it can mean well of seven and it can mean well of the oath. And you have the Beersheba, right? Like the Queen of Sheba. So the number 7 can also be the number of a treaty, and an oath is the number of purifying. The righteous fall 7 times and rise again in Proverbs. Okay, the 7 days of creation, and so on and so forth, right? It can be the number of completion, just like the number 1,000 can be. After the treaty has been made at Beersheba, Abimelech and Phicol, the commander of his forces, returned to the land of the Philistines. Abraham planted a tamarisk tree in Beersheba, and there he called on the name of the Lord, the eternal God, and Abraham stayed in the land of the Philistines for a long time. So we have various trees and vines that you might think of as sacred, right? You have the grapevine, you have olives, right? Tamarisk, okay? You have the mustard seed, the mustard tree, the poplar trees, okay? You have trees associated with Mamre, and so on and so forth. And again, you see how the puzzle goes on forever and ever. Are we old people with nothing to do, playing a crossword puzzle game? Are we young people being played by old people? The ancient serpent, the devil, the ancient. A fool who's committed to evil, who wants us to waste our time in regards to who understands the Bible more, instead of the throne being established in righteousness. New Living Translation, justice. The throne that you should follow is somebody who is more intensely righteous, not someone who understands the Bible better than other people. As they say, the devil knows the Bible very well. He's quoting the Bible in the Bible. Does that mean he's more righteous than everyone else? He's not more righteous than anyone else. So you must focus on the fruits of righteousness, not the tree of knowledge.